Yo, 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 yo. Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, tbkc, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. All right, man. This is about ring presence. Ring presence. And we hear that term brought up a lot about the ring presence of a dog. And what it's actually describing is a lot of times it's describing the attitude of the dog. Is the dog happy to be there? Is the dog pissing and shitting all over the ring? Is the dog, what is the dog doing? Is it commanding the ring? Is it doing its job? That's what ring presence is. It's not a hard thing. It's not anything to dig too deep into. What's up, girl? But sometimes the judges tell you ring presence is the reason. They're just really describing the way that your dog showed. Did your dog show in a fashion that would make the dog, a great show dog? It's sort of simple. That's all it is. Now, some of the things that you would like to see in the ring presence is the dog happy. One of the dogs that I would say probably has the best ring presence of all time would be Paco. Every time Paco was in the ring, Paco would always give you a lot of energy. He had this infatuation with Marco to a lot of times where he would peek back over his shoulder to look at Marco, and it was just like one of those things of like you could tell he didn't have to say it, even if he could say it. He was very, very happy to perform for his dad. I don't even want to call him an owner because their relationship was better than that. So it's always one of those things that you.
Two puppies brown.
Okay, two puppies is brown. All right, good.
And Uncle and Grandpa said no birthday.
That's what happened.
It's a Grandpa's birthday.
See, I speak Mandarin too. Anyway, it's it was one of those things that, like I tell you, Paco always had his tail up in the air. He bounced very, very happy. He was very, very much so into his thing. And yes, I'm going to keep on doing the video and do the daddy thing because I'm never going to get done because she interrupts every video. But anyway, now Bistro was also one of those dogs who did this. Bistro was a dog that when you seen him in the ring, he was very, very happy to be there. Every time I seen him in the ring, he was actually being shown by Robert Lee's brother, Nubs. And he always just had a ring presence that he was bouncing. He would have this weird little gait that it was a correct gait, but it was just like almost like he was just like floating on air. He was so happy to be there. He was so happy to do his job. It was such a wonderful thing for him. And that is very, very important because it is one of the deciding factors after we get to looking at confirmation and we look at everything else. That is a very, very important thing that you have to understand. You have to get your dogs in a routine of being very, very comfortable with the idea of being in the ring, being around people, also people touching the dog, not getting anxious when the dog is, when other dogs are around. These are things that are very, very important for the future. Not for the future, but for assessing the dog and should the dog be there. Because as a judge, the only thing that you have in the ring to assess temperament is how the dog acts. I'm not with your dog all day. I don't know.
Your dog can pay.
Okay.
Your dog can do faster.
Okay.
They just
Okay.
dog.
I'm doing a video. Go.
Yes.
She don't care. But anyway, okay, I love you. Anyway, the main thing is that when you're doing these things, you have to really, really look at the body language of the dogs. You have to see if that tail is up. You have to see how the dog makes eye contact. Even the hair on his back. You can really tell by a dog's body language if they're enjoying themselves or if they're in a fearful or nervous status. This is really every bit as important, and I will repeat this and double down on it. It's every bit as important as anything else that you're going to do in the ring. That dog has to show me as a judge that he's comfortable there, he wants to be there, and that this is his home and he's here to win this championship. I don't think it's anything unlike any other sport. You've got to own your domain in the ring. You can't just come in there and say, hey, I look good, I deserve a ribbon. That doesn't work. You have to perform. You have to come in there and act like you want to win that day. The gait has to be on point. There's no dragging of the dog and those things. And one of the ways that you can actually do this is like taking the dog out to places where people are, taking the dog out to places where there's noises, taking the dog out to places where there may be other dogs around. You have to get your dog acclimated to the noises, the smells, and the environment that's around. If you only train your dog at home by yourself and you bring him out to a show, there's a very, very high chance that the dog will not be 100% prepared, because he's not prepared for the speakers, the weird noises, the weird smells of all the other dogs, the possible issues with other dogs, and all of that stuff. So you want to get him out, you want to get him used to this. This is why a lot of people choose to start showing their dogs at a very young age. And I think it's a good practice if you can. Taking the dogs to shows as soon as they're vaccinated and they're ready to go out and be around other dogs. This is a very, very good practice because, like I say, most importantly, we need to know the dogs are ready and that they're totally involved in this and not scared or shook up in any way. I recommend that no judge, and I do mean absolutely no judge, ever gives a ribbon to a dog that they are not 100% confident in the dog's mental stability, temperament, and socialization. You know, because once again, breeding stock, show stock, these are the dogs that we are using from the show ring to decide our breeding stock. So if the dog is being bred, you always want to breed dogs with great temperament that does not want to sink teeth into a person or harm a person, if that breed description says that this dog is not to be aggressive at all towards people. It's just something that we have to think about. It's something that we have to really, really get better at, because we're seeing more and more dog attacks. And that's a standard that we have to really get ourselves together on. But anyway, I thank you guys for your time. God bless you. Love you. Peace.